Is here. He's already clipped in. Let's do this. Nice and cool this morning. It's always nice and cool in the morning. All right, my brother, let's do this. It's getting lighter later and later in the morning now. 6:28 and it's still kind of. On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton, rode into the Woodlands. We had a strong warm-up. We picked up the group on Research Forest. Mo and the WCC, a few of the guys joined us. We went down Fish Creek. We took 2854 and took old 105 road to 105, cut through that neighborhood with the 10-15% grade, went on Longmire Road, across the lake. Once we crossed the lake, Paul let us go. We got our wires crossed. He went through the forest. You can see me going back to look for him. And basically in Montgomery, we stopped at the store, and then Paul came on 149. But we really weren't able to hook up after we got our wires crossed before the stop. But we got really good clips. Paul did some great filming on this ride, and I think that you will enjoy the clips we got for you. There was a lot of just group riding action, and the pace was very high, even into the wind. Paul, you gonna run into the back of this guy? Paul was looking at Mo. Maurizio Topo Topini joined us this ride. He's on the right. Mo used to race bicycles for a living in Italy, and he's here with us, his group. There were only 3 people that showed up, so he decided to join Team RR today. He's on the right there in the green, and it's kind of like, I don't know if it's a green, gray, and then black combo. That's the WCC color. So I brought the camera to Paul, so you got to get more on camera.
The lake on goes, I love that one. Okay. Because I'm trying to get the KOM, the climb. Yeah. Yeah, I saw the head on Strava that you're a legend of something. You rode like 46 miles or something. Yeah, the local legend thing.
Yeah, local legend. That's Strava stuff.
Man, but that was fast, man. Oh, you're talking about KOM. Yeah. I read a couple of them last couple of weeks. Wednesday we had a beautiful one as a group. You know about the Wednesday night group? Yeah, actually. Yeah, we have a Wednesday night group. There is a Wednesday night group that starts from both groups. About a 21-mile group. And we actually broke the record Wednesday night. Yeah, we did I got home and I was, we got the record. Yeah, so I was happy to contribute.
They have a group that leaves the Woodlands Wednesday night at night.
Had one a couple of weeks
and they go fast for about an hour.
It was about a mile. I think I averaged about 32 miles an hour, maybe a little more. And I couldn't have gone faster if the U-Haul truck in front of me would have moved out of the way.
He's talking about a ride in the Woodlands for a mile. He said he was doing 32 plus.
I looked at all the entire ride. I kid you not, you were 27, 28, 27, 28. I was like a man. Yeah, no, we moved that.
That's the Wednesday night ride they're talking about. So in the middle of the week at night, it's dark, everybody has lights, and they hammer in the Woodlands. I think it's NPR ride, it's called, the NPR ride.
A little tired, then you gotta get your body rest. So I did a ride the last 2 days, and today this is gonna be good. So this is your rest day? Yeah. Good.
Yeah, he said he's been riding a lot, so he's going to back off. But, you know, depending on how you feel when you get going, sometimes you can still go, even if you're tired. So he said he will try to behave. That's what he said. He will try to behave.
The way to do this, yeah, we'll see.
So he plans to sit in the back. That's the plan. You plan, and then the ride happens.
And you know the problem is, so I broke Tuesday evening. I broke the free hub on my back wheel. Oh yeah. So I ordered one to replace it. How did that happen? Just overuse? Yeah, you know, overuse. It might be that products are not what they used to be. Because it was not that old. It was about 6 months old. And then basically started having way too much play. Instead. So I put this old wheel on. I just put it on and it's not really working very well. Yeah. It's kind of skipping gears. Yeah, that's what I'm experiencing this morning. There is a ticking noise. We were just checking it. Oh, yeah, I hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to diagnose noise on the bike.
Yeah.
But we worked on Paul's bike. We got it sorted.
They're sealed. You think sealed means nothing gets in it? Yeah. But water gets in it.
Mo's right. Not everything sealed keeps water out.
I mean, when I took it out, it was literally the bearing, the outside bearing in the free hub, was brownish. I mean, it was like all burnt up. And when I went to clean it, there were literally particles of metal. So really? Yeah, one sphere probably just disintegrated. Too much power, man. Too much power.
So he said his free hub was broken, and so he ordered a new one. So he's using a spare wheel.
My bikes, so
it's kind of hard to get
it does a good job
all the conversation. You got to keep up with your bike. That's what most doing. You ride a lot. You got to keep up with it. You don't want to get stranded out there. So and you got to learn a little bit about just general maintenance. I think certain things you should be able to do yourself. I went and pushed the button on the corner because there's no car behind us. So we definitely could get a green light for us going across.
Okay, it's not, but it's like we're all.
So Mo is trying to back off from riding too hard. He's been riding a lot lately, so he's going to sit in. That's his plan. But, you know, he ends up pulling, and so it ended up being a very good ride. But you guys heard him. I mean, it's like you've got to work on your bike if you're going to ride often. You got to keep your bike in good condition. It's a good turnout today. So he said only 3 members of his team. These are the 2 guys, the guy in the simple green and then the guy on the right with the WCC. Only those 2 showed up to ride with the Mo's ride from the Ashland YMCA today. So they decided to join us. So they left a little earlier and came over here to Team R. So back in the day, Mo made a living as a professional bicycle racer, and he just loves riding his bike. So he rides frequently. That rider is not with us. She's just heading out, and so she's getting through our group. She moved over because there's a car coming, and once the car passes, she will go ahead and pass the rest of the guys up there. We have a lot of talented cyclists on the north side. I mean, probably all over Houston, but we have a lot of cyclists out here. As you ride more and more, you come across them. I have seen that rider out on the open road. I don't know her name, but from the style, I've seen her just out on the roads.
I was saying, straight to 105, and they're going to go through that neighborhood. He said, look, you hear it, I need help with the neighborhood. So I just told him it's not that far. Yeah, he always gets lost at the boulevard. I said, yeah, the boulevard is a turn. He said, right? Nothing else there.
So Paul and I chatting, he rode up to me, and we're talking about the route that we're going to do today. We're gonna do that 10%
Well,
climb.
really up the long line.
Yeah.
The funny thing, he took me there.
That's Mark in a white jersey up there, so he had asked me to
Yeah, I remember you
just
telling
give them directions once we get into the neighborhood there. Because I follow, when we do these rides, I go back and I look at the route and I look on the map. So I get to learn these courses. I'm drifting back. I passed those guys because they really slowed down dramatically.
Yeah, he
And
said
so I
that
just didn't
only
want to
3
use my
showed up
brakes.
this morning.
So Paul is telling me that only 3 of them showed up. And that's why they decided to join Team RR, just to have more company. And since he was going to take it somewhat easy today, he figured it would work out if he just sits in. But he said he would see how that goes. And that's with any cyclist. Because even when you're tired, once you
They
get
never changed their time.
on the road and you loosen up, you might want to play.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we're talking about the WCC guys that changed their time to 7:15 just to get out a little earlier, but they did that a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know if they've returned to the regular time, but you have those moments throughout the year when you have smaller turnouts on your rides and, you know, people are traveling or whatever, people on vacation. There's a lot of different things going on. We're approaching the open road. So Mo's nickname is Topo. A spin on his last name, Topini.
Oh,
I think it was given to him by the Tifosi in Italy. The fans when he used to compete. I put a film on the channel. Those of you who want to catch up on Mo, it's in our archives when Mo competed with Michele Bartoli, Francesco Casagrande. He found a clip and he gave it to us, and I did a little edit on that. It was kind of nice. I thought that was cool. I saw some pictures one time with Mo and Cipollini. Cipollini came to the Houston area. Mario Cipollini. So they all chewed the same dirt, so to speak. That's from Clint Eastwood in Heartbreak Ridge.
hey, how are you, man?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Dan, I believe. Dan coming up to Paul. I've been setting up some newer shoes, and so I put some new cleats on there and did a couple of rides. You always want to make sure they bed in before you come on a long, hard ride. When you're sitting in the group, this is early in the ride, we're just kind of rolling along. Cadence doesn't really matter. I just put it in a gear that feels comfortable. Just kind of rolling along. We're not really going hard yet. You can see I'm in zone 1. My heart rate's in zone 1. That little glint that you see in the middle pocket is Paul's light hitting the reflector at the base of the middle pocket of that jersey. That's how effective that reflector is. So when a car's light hits that, it stands out. This is the time of year, if you've done your base, your preparatory, you got to really be working on your harder efforts. And then by October, you'll be backing off somewhat. So you can tell we're not going hard, and James is still sitting on the left. Once the pace picks up, it will go single file. So the jersey Paul's wearing is actually not a flyweight. We discussed it after the ride. He's wearing the Pro Team jersey in the styling of the brown and the mustard band. And I told him, man, that's really cool. What I like about the Pro Team jersey is that they have the convicts of the road stripe in the middle, on the middle pocket, which I think is a great spot versus on the right, especially on this side of the world where we ride on the right side. I think those stripes should either be in the middle or on the left for us. It's perfect if you're in South Africa or Britain where they ride and drive on the left side. Then you have the stripes on your right because they're reflective stripes. So the jersey I'm wearing, the stripes are on the right. See the white stripes there? I think it will be more effective in the middle or on the left for us over here. They do that with their Pro Team jerseys. They put it in the middle. The pace is still tranquil, calm. 119 beats per minute. That's the benefit of riding in the group. I'm soft pedaling to avoid stopping my pedaling. That's why you see the watch flickering. As we approach the light, I'm timing it because this light is very short. I believe it's already green. Yeah, we're going. I think I already signaled that we're going. So my entire attention is around the rider or riders in front of me and keeping my eye up the road. The road starts to go up here. You can see it. It's a slight grade. You want to select the appropriate gear and work with it. So now the effort has gone up. I am now at the top of zone 2. That quickly. So as the road goes up, to maintain a certain velocity, we have to work harder. We stay where we are so that people pulling off will have the left side of the lane to use as they drift back. And now we're riding. You can see the line has become straight. You can see my cadence has gone up. It's just instinct when you start to work. You have to get efficient.
Morning, man.
So at this point, I'm thinking about my shoes. How do they feel? Because, you know, I had just lined up the cleats on them. This was not my first ride in them. You never want to do a group ride with new stuff. You know, use that when you train solo, especially on your easier rides. You can test your equipment, set up your shoes and so forth. So this is a good effort. I'm approaching sweet spot. That's why I stayed to the right. So when James stopped pedaling over there, I was not affected. So Austin had been pulling, he pulled off. I'm keeping the distance to James' wheel the same, regardless of what he does.
Yeah.
You can see the road in the distance look kind of like a little blip up and down. That's why we like coming this way. You're working the entire time. And knowing that the road will go up, you should try to select the appropriate gear. You can see the watts going up. Because I'm in the proper gearing, look at my cadence. I can react to changes in speed without laboring. You saw the watts change, but you didn't see me arch my back or do anything differently. I just put more power to the pedals. That's what a fit does for you and proper training. See, he's coasting, I'm still pedaling. You have to be able to soft pedal enough, keep your eye on him. That's why I'm on this side, he's over there. But I'm still maintaining the same distance to his rear wheel, so I don't have to close any gaps. This is Rich Lake Drive as we go through. This is Cross Street. It's a lot of little rocks that I pointed at. This is where Mark is telling the guys up front that if you're up there when we get to the overpass, we're going to be turning right. That's why I heard him say we're going to be turning right on 2854 is the highway the overpass goes over. And they close the left turn that used to be on the descent to where you have to go right. So everything's kind of settled here. You just steady rhythm. The effort has dropped a little bit because we're going downhill. I unzipped my jersey a little bit. I'm using a Rafa Power Weave pants here. What I found, those shorts breathe just tremendously better than the standard Rafa shorts. The thing stayed dry the entire ride, whereas the other shorts, when you're in humid weather, you can feel the wetness. So that was a surprise, and I went and researched additional information about them and found out that's one of their selling points, breathability. So those Power Weave shorts, they were pretty penny, but man, they wick moisture a lot more efficiently than the other shorts. See, we're coasting almost 40K. This road is slightly downhill, flat the downhill. It's kind of, I think, more downhill than anything. I'll move to the left because I always pass these guys on the descent. And you can see the road's gonna go up. So I'm already in the appropriate gear just in case the speed changes. I think I end up using a larger gear here because it just felt better. So versus standing, I just used a larger gear and sat and worked that larger gear. What I meant is a lot of times when you stand, you want to go up at least one cog to keep your tempo close. So as he promised, Mo is sitting at the back. I haven't seen him at the front. He will come to the front on the overpass. I think I ride up on the overpass to the gentleman in the front to let him know not to forget to turn right because he started to gap James here. And when I moved up, it looked like I was making a move, and so Mo came, Kenny came, and then Dan came. But then they saw that, and Mo said, "Oh yeah, you told him about turning." That's what I wanted to make sure he knew we're turning. Because there's a new turn that's added on the right-hand side that never used to be there. You can see we just kind of settled in. That's what a pace line is about. Riding together in unison. The road's gonna start going up, so you want to make sure you're in the appropriate gear just in case you need to change speeds. I downshifted a bit. See, my cadence is up. Right here, I see him gapping this guy, so I ride up to let him know. And then Mo and them think I'm making a move. Then Mo said, "Oh yeah, you told him." I said, "Yeah." That's what Mo said. And then Dan is here. Because he started riding away from James.
Right turn ahead. Right turn.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what James told Dan, but Dan said classic. But once we got up there, we turned. We're going on the 2854. This is the new turn they added once they completed the overpass, so you don't go across the highway on the left like we used to. So you come on this loop and then you can go right or left. I think it's safer.
It ends right there where there's the groove.
That's Blake Road. 105 Blake Road.
We got the green. And one thing, when the group starts, you see how far Moore and Kenny are? Look at that. They're already up to speed. So I'm sitting on this guy's wheel because he was right there, and I guess he was under geared or whatever. It took him a while to get going. But you got to be aware of making sure you stay in the wheels, because now he's got the ride up to them. Mo is waiting. This is a busier highway than even Fish Creek, but it's not. There aren't frequent vehicles. It has a small shoulder. We're just going to stay on here for maybe 5 kilometers, if that. And we're going to turn and go north, turn left. But we're going into the east wind. In the summer, we mostly get our winds from the southeast. And so it's coming from the right and mostly in our face. And these guys are riding at about 40 kilometers an hour. So Mo is at the front, Kenny is behind Mo. Then I'm on the wheel of this gentleman who was pulling, and Paul is behind me. I periodically look around the gentleman in front of me to make sure I can see how clean the pavement to come is. That's something that's good to do from time to time. You kind of scan ahead when you can, and then you can get behind the person and relax knowing that, well, I got about another 1.5 kilometers of clean pavement. I don't have to be wondering. I just like to know what's coming. So Mo's holding 40 kilometers an hour into this wind. It's probably maybe a 10 kilometer headwind, maybe 10 to 12 kilometer headwind. Because I'm in the wheels and I'm doing 300 plus watts, so I know we're going hard. This is what gets a lot of new cyclists unnerved. You know, traffic passing by while they're riding. But you know, after a while you get used to it. And these guys are giving us a little bit of room as they go by. They're supposed to, not all of them do. We can use the road, but as a courtesy, we're not using the main lanes. This shoulder is clean. It may not be very wide, but we use the shoulders whenever it is safe to do so. The shoulder is smooth, and we stay on the right side of that wide line. You know, it works. So we've been going for almost 2 kilometers or so at 40K. That's what we mean by sustainable pace. See me looking around me. I want to see ahead. The pavement looks smooth, no obstacles, and I drift back. that sign that we just passed that showed the T-junction coming up, that's going to be our turn. The road is called Old Highway 105. Going to be going north. That's why I mode checked. And that's Kenny. Kenny got in the lane. I looked in my mirror and then I moved over. But we've got a bunch of cars. This Old Highway 105. That's the sign over there. A bunch of cars coming the opposite way. And one of them is actually turning on this road. So we slow down and wait for him. He's still, that's that vehicle coming. He's slowing down. He's going to be turning right where we're going. Somebody said car up because the riders, when they turn, sometimes they use the opposite side of the road. And then right here, everybody starts setting up and this and that. So you will see me just ride through so we can keep going. Let's go. Let's ride. So I'll go ahead and just settle in, so we can just keep riding. There's no point in us. There's no need for us to sit up. We just started riding. There's all those little patches. I always point them out because they don't patch them very well. They just drop asphalt in the holes. They don't smooth them out. It's like they want the cars to do that. Our vehicles are not very good at putting weight on asphalt. So when they're not.
This goes to 105 and goes to the next one.
Yeah, he's asking Paul if the road goes to 105. And I just let him know we're turning right. This is old 105. And then we're going to turn here. This is Sap Road. That's a grade. You can see it's at 2-3%. Yeah, so I already had downshifted 4%. Yeah, if you're in the wrong gear, it hits your legs hard. I'm not going hard. I'm just riding steadily. I'm right at the top of zone 2. So I can see Paul in my mirror. I know when he rides up to me. And I just keep the pace going so the group can keep going. I didn't want us sitting up and just being all over the road. Mo had pulled for a long time back there. So my plan was to pull all the way to 105 and then start a little line to where, I always tell Paul kind of rotate through so he's not sitting up there too long. Paul's gonna film behind. You see, those are the guys just back there. Everybody kind of hanging. It's pretty through here. Sap Road is a nice, quiet road. Always like this. That's Mike Weingrad there. Behind Paul, that's Jesus on the left. That's Kenny on the right with Jesus. And then I see, what's his name, Austin with the red helmet back there. So everybody's kind of rolling through. Paul's just chilling. Paul and I worked on a project off the bike that hurt his back. I found out on this ride. That's Jesus. Jesus rides with the WCC boys. And so he's taking it a little easier today. That's kind of how we got disconnected on 1097 off camera. But he's doing better. So it should be cool. That's Darren here in front of Paul. So while I'm pulling, I think one of the guys came and asked me, does this road go to 105? And I told him, yeah, it does. And so he will come to the front. I don't know if it's happened yet or not. And it looks like I'm still pulling. And then once I get off the front, he pulls, but then at 105, he just sits there. I guess he didn't know where we're going, So I just go ahead and take the lead again for a little bit. I think this is where I'm going to pull off. because he comes by and he goes to the front. He asks me if the road hits 105. Once I acknowledge that, I drift to the back. I'm on the right, he's going through, I think. But it didn't pull very long because the 105 is in the distance. After this curve, you will see the highway. That's Darren's brakes on the carbon rims on his bike. That's what made that noise. I don't really use my brakes much in the pace line. So I'm in third position. Highway 105 is right in the distance, maybe 250 yards, maybe. Or, I don't think it's that far. You can see it there. That's where we're headed. And then when we get there, he had just taken the lead. I thought he was going to continue, but then he kind of tried to do like a track stand, and I just went around him. Just keep us moving. Because once we turn in about probably 3 kilometers or so, we have to turn left into the neighborhood with all the little hills. So right there, he basically comes to like a stand, and I just go around him. I don't know what they're doing, but I just want us to keep moving. So we're just going. But I don't stay there too long. I pull off in a short while. So these two guys here ride with WCCs most of the time. Kenny's ridden with us before. The guy in the simple green kit. I think I'm still pulling. A little bit I will pull off. This is Highway 105 in Conroe, Texas. Yeah, pull off. Oh, that's Mike Weintraub. Okay, let's see. I don't know what he's doing. He's drifting to the back. I did not plan to stay there until we get to those climbs because I'd already been pulling for a while. So I think this is where, I drift to the right. Paulie Longa is back here on Jesus' wheel, and that guy takes over. I'll let everybody come by, and then I'm going to go to the back of the group and go ahead and take a gel, a drink, because it's about a little over an hour into the ride. This light catches us. Yeah, that noise on the braking comes from not having an adequate toe in, because that's what it sounds like. You got to toe those brakes correctly.
There's a Bolero station. Yeah. I can't remember if it's.
They're talking about where the turn is into the neighborhood at Highland Hills Drive.
There's not oncoming traffic. You want to stop.
So at this point, I'm in the back. I think I'm the very last person in the group. I'm there, just drinking, getting something to eat. Because Paul and I have been riding probably, hour 26. These guys probably been riding like 45 minutes or something like that. So it's time to make sure I don't fall behind. You see my watch go up. I'm riding back up to the front at this point. So the road is relatively flat. And once I get in the draft, you can see I'm soft pedaling. I'm in the middle of the highway right now. I'm not on camera. I've already gotten in that middle lane because there are no cars behind us. The guys at the front have not been paying attention. We're supposed to be turning left here. And you can see there are no cars passing in this direction. I'm already in the middle there. And then people are yelling left turn. They still don't hear it. Somebody ends up, I think
guys,
Mike.
left turn.
Yeah, with Paul telling them left turn. They're right there. So he goes ahead and gets in the turn lane right here. You see me come by because I'm already in the turn lane. Now there they are trying to come over. Somebody's going, there I am. Somebody whistles. A couple of them are still up there. And so I'm actually on the road now. I did not want to sit in the middle of the road. Nothing was coming, so I took the left turn. Even though the arrow was red. Highland Hills Drive here. It goes up to like 11 or 15%.
Yeah. How you doing, man? Yeah, you're so sweet. Oh my God. Did you make it home okay? I did, but like that was well, it just
4 or 5%. As soon as you turn in, I'm already up the road. You can see my light blinking. I'm just riding. I'm not riding hard, just riding steadily. I'm at zone 2 right now. It just continues to go up.
I can't believe you.
We lose everybody at the light, I guess, huh?
I did, I think 100 miles 2 or 3 days later. But I never felt
He's asking if we lost everybody to the light. We didn't lose anybody. Everybody came in eventually. We're just riding steadily, so you know, they should be able to catch up, no problem. By the time we get to the corner, Moore would have caught up. He's going to go around the corner up there in the distance when we get to the final right turn on Foy Mountain Drive. I think it's Foy Martin. You can see how long this thing go up. I like this climb. It's always quiet, but it's challenging because the grades are they just change on you. 3, 5, 6%. I'm already at the corner. Mo is gonna come, and right as I turn, he's gonna pass here. You see him, Foy Martin Drive. There's Mo. So Mo accelerates, and he goes by me, and then he asks, "Are we turning left or right?" The climb is short at this point, but look at the grade, 13%. The thing is like a wall.
Kenny, I gotta get sponsored by Simple Green. What's that? I want my sponsorship. A couple new bikes a year. Some jerseys, pants.
We're in the distance. We're not on camera. We've already turned left up there. Mo stayed at the front. He'd go through, pass, come back to us. I just kept riding. You can see my watts are still up, even though we're not climbing anymore. Where we are is flat. We've turned left in the distance where this stop sign says stop sign ahead. So we're probably about maybe half a kilometer in the distance ahead of these guys. You can see us down there in the distance. We're going to be turning right. There's a boulevard there that will take us to a parallel street to this one called Longmire Road. This is the street that takes us out of this subdivision. We're right up there at Longmire. I'm going to turn left. That's my light blinking on the left there. There's more. And then Austin is there also. I just keep riding because there's a lot of hesitation back here. Like these guys are not ready to get going again.
That was a nice feeling.
Yeah.
That's Jesus. I'm not sure why they pulled in there. I guess they're waiting for some riders. I'm not aware that they had pulled off the road like they did. I'm just riding around 18 to 20 miles an hour at this point. The effort is about zone 2. I think at this point I see Paul in my mirror. So I don't go any harder, I just keep it the same. I think the guys are back on the road. We're going downhill here because in a short while Mo will come by and change the pace and he rides off and I just keep riding at my pace. I was thinking somebody would come around, but nobody was interested in going after Mo. I see Paul in my mirror. I keep the effort the same. The road's going up. And I think as soon as he catches up, then Mo goes. But the group is with Paul at this point. And that's the trick on climbs. If you want to keep the effort the same, that's where Mo takes off. I don't lift my pace. I just keep riding. Nobody else comes around, so I just keep doing the same thing. But on the climbs, if you want to keep the pace the same, you've got to downshift somewhat. Because if you keep pushing in a harder gear, then you're not keeping the pace the same. Yeah, when Mo went by, he was going so much faster than I was going. It definitely would have split up the group, and I would have had to work my tail off to sit on his wheel. And at this point, after those climbs in the neighborhood and being up front, I decided I was just going to keep the effort right where it was. I'm right at sweet spot, and he's up the road. At this point, he's just so much further ahead than the pace that we're riding here. I had expected at this point that someone would have come around to share the lead or something, but no one did, so I just continued to ride. In a short while, I think less than a kilometer, they will come around. You see me move over? And I just tell Paul, let's just kind of roll through. And what Mark's talking about is that we're getting us through the neighborhood. He didn't remember how to get out of there exactly, so it was kind of.
Trying to stay with Mo, that was a bad idea. My legs started screaming.
I was telling Greg here, I tried to stay with Mo in the neighborhood. It was just, he was flying up his climb. That's awesome, man.
8 hours, 8.5 hours in this ride. Okay, give me an example. The year before, the winter one, 6:45. Similar ride.
So throughout this ride, Mo would lift the pace, sometimes pull the group, sometimes go back and get people who had fallen off. So he was always roaming the bunch. That's pretty standard for him. A lot of times people fall off the pace, he'll go back. But then the thing is if you're falling off the pace, when he's trying to pull you back, he's got to go a little fast to get you back to the group. Well, if you're already struggling and he lifts the pace to bring you back, it's like you're chasing the group again. It's really hard. There he is. So he comes back after getting to that intersection.
Man, you're bad for my ego, man. You made that hill look easy.
I thought I said you bad for my ego. You made that climb look so easy. Yeah, he flew up those climbs in that neighborhood.
No, Doug, I mean. Doug. Right turn. We're going straight.
And when you're already on the rivet and somebody lifts the pace, you've got to learn to stay within yourself.
Where's Doug? I was afraid to invite me because I
So Longmire goes for probably a kilometer or so, and then it's going to turn into a road called Little Egypt Road. And that will take us to the FM 830. I go ahead and ride past Mike and them here. They're leaving all these gaps. I think I went in front of Austin and got on Paul's wheel as well before the turn. So there are different levels in the group. And, you know, Mo's got his own level. This is Little Egypt Road. And so if you're feeling good and you want to sit in on his wheel, you just got to make sure you don't go so long and blow if the pace is really high. Since he and this guy ride together a lot, I told him, I said, man, he went through that neighborhood like...
up that hill like it was flat.
He laughed. I told him about the neighborhood.
Turn right in the neighborhood when it kicks up. Yes. It just, yeah. I was like, man. First thing that I ride that hill. On these roads, I mean, I always do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I like that hill. It's all right. Short.
Nice.
Yeah.
They said the area where the hill is too like wavy. You can't really get any kind of rhythm. Twist and turns, stop signs. So yeah, I kind of knew what he meant. He doesn't like going through the neighborhood. They take the main highway. When we turn, the road is still called Little Egypt Road, but it kicks up, as you can see. So when Paul had come through back on the back highway that we were on, Longmire Road, he handed me the camera as he went to the front to take his pull. And I just went ahead and kept it for the duration. I think in a little bit I spin it around to kind of get a rear view. I think James is at the front pulling. Yeah. I switch hands here and put the camera in my right hand to get a nicer view. There you go. That's Jesus back there. One of the WCC boys. So they were doing about 95 kilometers, 70 some miles on this ride. So when you're riding that long and that far, you got to pace yourself to make sure your goal should be, I got to finish strong. I stay just slightly to the left of Darren's wheel. The lens of the camera is on the left. It looks like I'm further over, but not really. So by saving your energy throughout the ride and listening to your body, you give yourself a better chance of being able to come in with the group, as opposed to expending energy early in the ride and then hitting the wall and getting dropped. So remember to restrain yourself when you ride in a group until you know exactly what the makeup of the group is. So I hope you all got a chance to do some riding this weekend, because this is part of what we did on Saturday. Remember, keep getting your K's in and keep those doctors fired.